is Tina and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a button of skincare empties. If that sounds like your thing, then please go ahead and channel登録してってください. China. So for the last few months, I really tried to focus on emptying skincare products rather than opening up new ones. Of course, I still opened up a fair few, but this was the result in about 3 months. Obviously, I didn't use all of these like start to finish in 3 months, but there was quite a few products that I was kind of already like halfway through or thought about just using up. And yeah, when I really focused and put my mind to it, this was how many I emptied. There was even more than this, to be honest, but if I felt like I'd already talked about it enough in the past, I kind of just threw it away because this video would end up being an absolute marathon. So I was like, you know what, I'll just stick with those ones. So the first product is the Rosette Rice Release Cleansing Oil. This is a Japanese cleansing oil that I actually really loved. It uses rice bran oil as the main oil ingredient and is also fragrance free. It is a really nice lightweight texture that removes makeup really well, even waterproof makeup and even when your hands and face is wet. The only thing is that it is quite hard to find online for sure. It is quite difficult to find, but even in like Japan, I feel like not all drugstores stock it. So if you do come by it, I do definitely recommend. It is pretty affordable as well. Next up, we do have another first step or oil-based cleanser, and it is the Beauty of Joseon Cleansing Balm. This one is a sherbet-like balm cleanser that uses rice water and fermented ingredients to cleanse the skin gently while being non-drying. It is a nice cleanser, but I feel like sometimes it can take a little bit of effort to melt it down and make it kind of creamy. It definitely does have fragrance. It's not a bad fragrance at all. It's a little hard to describe, maybe like a floral fragrance, but it is essential oil free. I know it's compared to the Heimish cleansing balm a lot, but that one does include essential oil. So if you are sensitive to essential oils and want something that's similar to the Heimish one, this one is pretty close. In all honesty, it is not a product that kind of wows me enough to repurchase. I feel like there's plenty of other cleansing balms out there that are just as good and probably more affordable. Next, I have 2 water-based cleansers. It is the Purito Defense Barrier pH Cleanser and then also the iUNIK Centella Bubble Cleansing Foam. So I feel like these 2 cleansers were pretty similar. They are both a low or balanced pH. They both have Centella Asiatica to help soothe and gently cleanse your skin. They are both also alcohol free and added fragrance free, although they both include extracts of tea tree. So I feel like they both have that a little bit of a fragrance from that tea tree kind of smell. Does that make sense? Purito is also a gel formula, whereas the iUNIK one is a self-foaming. I did love using the self-foaming one in the morning. It's so quick and easy. You don't have to bother like foaming it up with your hands. But I will say for that reason, I went through this pretty quickly. Honestly, I feel like if I used it like morning and night every day, it would probably last me a month. Whereas this, I feel like it lasted me for forever months. Like it lasted me so freaking long because you need such a small amount, and then if you just foam it up, like it is pretty foamy for a gel cleanser. So if you're looking for bang for buck, I would definitely say the Purito one is better value for money, although both of them are very affordable. I would probably say it would suit people who do have normal to combination oily skin more. In the drier months, for me, I feel like they could be slightly drying or just not enough hydration. So if you do have combo oily skin or normal skin or living in warmer months, I would recommend either of these. Kracie Lamellance Technology Bright Up Face Wash. So this is actually a Japanese foaming cleanser that foams up really nice but isn't drying. I tested the pH and it is a neutral of 6, but it still makes a really nice fluffy kind of marshmallowy foam, so it is very enjoyable to use and cleanse with. Like it's such a Japanese scent. I don't know how to describe it, but so many Japanese products have this like scent. I guess it's like that slight soapy scent, but it's like floral and I don't know, it's comforting to me. It's like very nostalgic for me, I guess, of Japan. It does include ingredients like glycerin and ceramide, so the whole kind of Lamellance technology that they're highlighting in this product is supposed to protect your skin barrier and help retain the hydration and moisture of your skin, and I do think that this cleanser does that pretty well. I feel like a lot of brands are updating their ingredients and formulas these days to make it less drying, but I feel like it's always been a trend in Japanese face washes to be really foamy for a cleanser, and I feel like this is definitely a more updated and gentler and less drying version, so I do think it can work for people who do have drier skin like me. Next we have the Sofina IP Base Care Essence. I did mention this one in my overhyped Japanese skincare video. If you do want to check it out in depth, please do. Yeah, it didn't really live up to the hype, unfortunately. Its price point is the higher end of drugstore in Japan, so it's a little more than I would even usually spend. It's supposed to be like a pre-toner step that helps prep your skin and makes all the other products that you apply after work better, but I feel like I put it on and my skin was nice and plump, and then after that, whatever I put on, it just kind of mixed in and like defeated the purpose of this almost. So yeah, I just feel like it didn't work that well. I do have 2 mists that I went through, the Cosrx Centella Water Alcohol Free Toner, and then also the MISSHA Time Revolution Artemisia Treatment Essence in the mist. So firstly, the Cosrx toner that has been made super famous by the Sir James Welsh. I definitely put this in my cart because of him as well. So I didn't use this one as a toner per se very much. It's not quite enough for people who do have dehydrated skin like me, but it is a really easy one to grab when you want to just kind of freshen up, rehydrate, or even use in between skincare steps to add extra hydration. It is a super simple ingredients, maybe too simple for me. It's like water for your skin. Like I use it like I drink water, but this is like water for my skin, if that makes sense. I went through it super quick because it just happened. Like you just keep spraying it and it doesn't feel heavy. It's really light. It just soaks into your skin. So it is beautiful to use like any season, any time of day. But I would say it's probably more beneficial for people who do have oilier skin and might find some mists too heavy. It's also good that it's Cosrx and very affordable, so you don't feel bad using a ton. So the MISSHA one is actually, it's just a mist version of their Artemisia treatment essence. I do believe it usually like comes in a bottle, and this is the same thing but in a mist, and it is a single ingredient. It's just double fermented Artemisia and Nivea extract, which is a plant extract that helps soothe your skin. It's antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. I did use this at my essence step, but I feel like I didn't reap its full benefits, probably because it was in a mist. I feel like whenever you use a mist, like obviously don't pack on as much of the product if you applied it directly, and I wasn't that impressed by it, I guess. I feel like I might have a different opinion if I use the actual bottle, and I know a lot of people love this one. At this point in time, I probably do prefer like the I'm from Mugwort essence, which is a very similar product compared to this. I would still love to try like the regular bottle or even the normal Time Revolution essence, because I don't think, oh maybe I have used it. Moving on to serums, the Goodal Green Tangerine Vitamin C Dark Spot Serum. I did talk in depth about this one in this video, the brightening serum, so if you do want to know like a full in-depth review, please go check that video out. Overall, it is such a nice serum. I love the texture. It's so lightweight and hydrating and leaves your skin really glowy. It's beautiful to incorporate into your AM routine and gives that nice kind of plump skin. In the sense of like brightening actual dark spots, I don't know. I feel like it would take a while for it to actually show effects because it is a pretty gentle serum, and I feel like even just after using one bottle you probably won't see full effects, but I do feel like it gives like an overall kind of brightened, kind of glowy, plump look. So I definitely still love it and would be a serum that I would totally repurchase just for like the kind of usability side of it. It is just a beautiful serum. And then another brightening serum, it's actually a Japanese one. It is the FANCL Whitening Essence. Yes, I do not like that they say whitening. In Japanese skincare, whitening means brightening, but you know, Japanglish, it'd be kind of weird like that. This one, it is a vitamin C serum, and I actually had pretty high hopes for it because it was ranked pretty high and highly reviewed in Japanese skincare magazines. This is probably the only time I've ever had a Japanese skincare product being so specific with its expiry. So on the box it actually has when it was made, and then even tells you like after it was made it lasts 2 years without opening, and then once opened 60 days, which is pretty specific and quite a short lifespan for a skincare product, I guess. They even give you a little sticker that you can write your dates that it's fresh. Obviously it's passed already and I still have a little bit left, but I kept it for the review. And they even have a little window in the back that it says once you see the red line you have 7 to 10 days of product left. So yeah, very specific. I wish all skincare products did this. So I love that part of this product. The serum itself is actually really nice. They recommended just using 2 pumps, like 1 pump at each cheek. It spreads really nicely. It's very lightweight, doesn't have a fragrance, layers with any product really, really well. It is a tiny bottle. It's only 18 mils, although I did use it every single day for the 2 months and there's still some left. So it's a tiny bottle, but I guess you really don't need much. Like it spreads really well and covers your whole face. But the effects of brightening, as I said, I had high hopes, but I don't feel like it brightened much at all. Kind of unfortunate. It is definitely a little bit more on the pricey side for such a little bottle. So that'll be a no for me. I'd probably rather go for the Milano CC, which is dirt cheap compared to this and lasts like triple the amount. Oh man, I'm so hungry. Should I just go get my other half of the bagel? So I do have quite a few moisturizers. You know what? No, I'm going to go get my bagel. I'm freaking hungry. Oh, cream cheese and blueberry. Gotta love that bagel. I don't fuck up my makeup. Oh, it's gotten so stale. Damn it. Alright, so I do have quite a few moisturizers today. It is something that Logan uses quite a bit, so we go through moisturizers definitely quicker than a lot of other skincare products. The ACWELL Aqua Clinity cream. So this one's a gel cream made for sensitive skin. It is a really nice lightweight texture without it being sticky. I definitely use it in the AM, although once it got into the dry months I feel like it was like a little bit not enough for me, not quite enough moisture. And to be honest, like, I don't know if I've just gotten older or just drier, but I just don't really like gel creams anymore, which sucks because it used to be like my favorite type of moisturizer. I was all about gel creams, but I just don't think they work for my skin as well anymore. I need a bit more oil content. But Logan loved this one. I know when he loves a product because he goes through it so damn quick and he uses it like every single day. He does have slightly oilier skin than me and breakout prone skin, and it worked really, really well for him. So if you do have that type of skin type, it might work well for you too. The Alba Peptide No Sebum Repair Cream. I've mentioned this range in the past and I love the concept of it because it is anti-aging products for oilier skin types, which is definitely a little harder to come by. It uses peptides in the ingredients, which is one of my favorite anti-aging ingredients since it's so gentle and can be incorporated into your skincare routine a lot easier than say something like retinol, and I feel like it really helps to plump up your skin. The lotion is a lovely texture. I honestly don't think there's anything left, so I can't show you guys, but it's a nice lightweight texture. It is a little pricey, and for my skin type I don't think I really saw a difference. It was kind of a because my skin type really isn't the target skin type for this one, but if you do have oily skin but do want to focus on anti-aging, it might work really, really well for you, and the ingredients and the concept is like amazing. Last moisturizer we have is the Good Molecules Silicone-Free Priming Moisturizer. I actually really, really like this moisturizer. Honestly, it's so good. I love Good Molecules. It's probably one of the very few Western skincare brands that I use because I'm on their PR list, but they're also made in Korea, so I guess I'm not straying too far away. Good Molecules is known for being really affordable, cruelty-free. I believe vegan, a lot of irritant free, so they don't have fragrance, silicone, alcohol, and all that stuff. I love what they do as a brand, and I think the fact that they are still really affordable is really nice. Like, I know this moisturizer is only $12 if you are kind of starting off with skincare but want something that's cheap and effective. Definitely a great brand to look into. So this moisturizer includes essential fatty acids like shea butter and macadamia oil, so it's a really nice nourishing moisturizer, and it also uses plant-based silicones to create that smooth base. But the problem was, I felt like the purpose of the product went to waste, especially for me, because I put this on, you get the smooth base as a moisturizer, but then I apply sunscreen afterwards, as you do, because you need to wear sunscreen every day. So I feel like I just like wasted the purpose of this being a priming moisturizer, because I put on my sunscreen and then it's kind of like, well, the finish is different now. But the texture is so nice, and it's another one that Logan really liked, and he almost like ended up, I mean, there's still a decent amount left, but he got to hear it and he's like, do you need this for Empties? Should I stop using it? And I was like, yes, I will talk about it in Empties. It is a really, really nice texture, and I feel like a moisturizer that you can use for so many different skin types. It works for my skin, which is dry and dehydrated. Logan has slightly more oily skin, and it still wasn't too heavy or anything for him, and it does have a really nice kind of softening finish to it. So a moisturizer that I definitely highly recommend. Also love the packaging, how it's that like doesn't waste any product, and I always love pumps. I freaking love pump bottles. I just think they're the way of the future. Sunscreens. We have the Nivea Sun Super Water Gel. I love this sunscreen. I freaking love it. Most lightweight gel SPF that I have continued to repurchase for probably over a decade now. Like, it was one of my first Japanese sunscreens that I bought when I was around 16, and I still repurchase it every time I go back to Japan, and it is an absolute favorite. Just hands down one of the most repurchased sunscreens for me. It is obviously a chemical sunscreen. It has a very seamless application on my skin tone. I usually take one pump, put it all over the skin, second pump, put it all over. So I layer it twice, and it's still super lightweight, doesn't feel heavy or uncomfortable on the skin. The only thing that I would say is a negative is the fact that it does have alcohol. I know a lot of people don't like it. It doesn't bother me in general, but I feel like since I have not opted, but naturally I have been using less and less products that contain alcohol. So compared to back in the day when I used to use probably a lot of products that contain alcohol, I now notice the alcohol smell in this. I never used to. Once I apply it, it dissipates and like it doesn't bother me, but I would probably say that's just the one downfall, is that it contains alcohol. I think it would be literally the most perfect product if it didn't contain alcohol, and the fact that it comes in a big bottle and a pump is an A+. Next is the Sun by Me Truecica Mineral 100 Calming Sun Cream. One of the few 100% mineral sunscreens that I have used, and I initially really quite liked. It is a nice kind of semi-matte finish, so it was nice in the warmer months. If you have oilier skin, it will probably help for you too. But after I was using it for a while, like I was using it fine for like weeks, and then out of nowhere it started peeling, it started rolling up on my skin. I think maybe it was specifically under masks, because I remember I was using this the most when we had to wear masks all the time, and I feel like it just peeled under the mask like literal balls. So I stopped using it. Logan ended up finishing up this one and it worked fine for him. And now the infamous Purito Centella Green Level Safe Sun. This one definitely caused a bit of a stir in the skincare scene. We all know the story, but essentially it was only providing a lower level of sun protection, a lot lower than the advertised 50 that they say this provides. I think I was like halfway through the bottle when I found out all that news came out, and I did stop using it, not gonna lie. I just stopped using it. After a while I was like, oh, it's such a waste, and the product itself is actually a really nice product, and it still provides sun protection. Like, it's low, but it's still sun protection. I think they said it was like around 20 something. I mean, they sell products that are SPF 15, so it's still sun protection. And I loved the texture and everything, so I started using it as a daytime moisturizer On the days that I stayed in the apartment all day, I don't get any direct sunlight in my apartment. Unfortunately, makes it filming hard. I only get like diffused light, or when I had shifts at work really early at like 7 a.m. where the sun was barely up before I left, and my workplace is underground. So I literally don't see the light of the day. I wore it on days like that, and the texture and everything is so beautiful. I mean, so many people loved it, so fair enough. But if you do have it at home, I would highly recommend just using it that way. Even use it on your hands, on your body, or literally just use it as a moisturizer and then wear a high protection on top. Sucks for them, but I did use it up and I still enjoyed using it, so yeah. The Lion Pear Acne Cream, I've used it to the point where the label is pretty much completely gone, and you can see that I squeezed the hell out of this tube. This is probably the only pimple cream still that I find is actually effective in reducing like larger pimples and kind of calming them down, and also a really good preventative. The reason why I was able to use it so much is the texture and like the non-smelling nature of it. I feel like pimple creams are always like thick or have like color or have that white cast to it or smell really like medication-y. This one just is like a lightweight moisturizer, and it's so lightweight and smooth. I would apply it like all over the chin as a preventative as well, and it worked so well. It's supposedly supposed to be for adult pimples, whatever that means, but that's how they market it in Japan. Once I used up the other pimple creams that I've got at home, this was probably going to be the only one that I'm going to like continue to use and repurchase, and in Japan it's so cheap. It's just so hard to find over here. On the subject of pimples, I have a couple pimple patches. The Neogen Clear Spot patch, really like these ones. They're so thin, so adhesive, they last all day. You can even wear makeup on top of it and it doesn't start like peeling from the edges, and I really did like using these ones for after popping a pimple. They were essentially invisible, so this is definitely one of my favorites. Probably this one and the By Wishtrend ones are my favorite thus far. And then I also have the Needly patch. So this is the micro needle type pimple patch. This was the first time I was using it. I have only ever really used like the classic hydrocolloid ones, but these ones are the ones that have like the tiny little needles that's supposed to like penetrate your skin and kind of help the pimple that way. This was definitely a bit of a hit and miss. Sometimes it really did help to reduce and basically get rid of like the larger, deeper pimples. So when I noticed that it was coming, I would put these on like every night, maybe 2 or 3 nights, and it just didn't surface, which was great. And then other times, this monster that I'm dealing with on my chin right now, I haven't had one this big in so long. I don't know if you can really see it with the camera and makeup, but oh, it's a big one. And I have used this multiple days, multiple nights, and it's not working. I don't think anything is gonna work on this. It really depends on the pimple, whether these work or not. And the adhesive is a little tricky. It's just a thin strip around the outside of the patch. If it stuck well, awesome, but if it stuck kind of awkwardly, then you are guaranteed that it'll almost peel off after like a half hour. And you only get 8 in here. You get 4 small ones and 4 big ones, so 8 in total. And I will say, like, the packaging is really nice and aesthetic and fancy and all of that, but like it's very excessive for 8 patches. Like they even have this like container thing, and then it has the pimples in there, and then it has a Ziploc bag. After you use it, I'm like, oh, what do you do with this? I feel like it's a waste, but like you get one with every pack. I don't know, I feel like the packaging is a little excessive. I would rather have more patches in the one pack than having like a fancy container to put them in. I don't know, give or take. Lastly, we actually have an Australian skincare product, and it is the Alia Skin Australian Pink Clay Mask. As you can see, it dried up before we used it up. I was actually using it with Logan, so even with the both of us using it, it dried up before we emptied it because, yeah, you know what? I think I'm over clay masks. I think I'm just over them. I don't think my skin needs them. When I use them, I really only use them like on my nose and my chin. I feel like even my forehead doesn't need a clay mask. I would say compared to the Alia Skin, the Sand and Sky one is definitely better, like Australian clay mask. It's a bit more creamier, it's less drying. With this one, I really didn't feel the detoxifying and brightening effects. And they say to use it like 2-3 times a week. I'm like, dude, I'm going to just like crack if I use a clay mask like every second day. I feel like that's just so drying. Since then, they actually reached out to collab with me on this, and yeah, I have to say I kindly declined because I just don't think it works for my skin. Whew, that was a lot of talking and a lot of listening for you guys, I'm sure. But that was my empties. I hope you enjoyed it. I know a lot of you guys do like my empties because it's like my full review after using the full product. So if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!